So we must build our relationship with our Imam and get close to our Imam and seek the help of the Imam. Allah has sent an Imam to us to help us and guide us. We have to utilize and make use of this blessing that Allah has given to us. The Imam is a rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. I want to narrate a story about Imam Zaman, Ajallah ta'ala farajahu sharif, which there are many, many stories about Imam Zaman helping his Shias. But we'll relate one from the book Miracles of the Time by Ayatollah Langrudi, this blue book here. So on page 115, the late Ayatollah Alama Sheikh Ali Akbar Nahawandi says Sheikh Ali Rashti was a great intellectual and honorable scholar, possessing all the good attributes and the best of excellences. He was a righteous scholar, a pious man, and a deeply religious person. He was among the students of the true Sayyid, the great teacher Hujjatul Islam Mirza Shirazi. Since the people of the Fars province had continuously complained that they did not have any scholar or spiritual personality among them, Mirza Shirazi was sent towards them. He lived with them continuously with perfect honor till the time he passed away. I was in his company during the journey as well as at home. I have seen very few people who could equal him in morals, manners, and excellence of character. Then he's going to narrate what the Sayyid says. He relates, in one of the journeys, I was returning to Najaf al-Ashraf from ziyarat of His Eminence Abu Abdullah, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, through the route of the river Euphrates. I had boarded a small boat that ran between Karbala and Tuwayrij. At Tuwayrij, the route diverged to Hilla and Najaf. The passengers, all of whom were the people of Hilla, were busy in games, joking, and shameful behavior, except for one person, who though also belonged to their group, but they occasionally ridiculed his religion and criticized him. I was very astonished at this until we reached a place where the water was too shallow and the boatmen were compelled to disembark us. As we walked along the banks, by chance I happened to be walking with the same person. I asked him, "Why did you remain aloof and away from these people? And why did they criticize your religion?" He said, "My father was also from them, but my mother was from the people of Iman, the people of faith, Shia. I was also initially in their faith, but through the favor of Imam Hujjaj, Allah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, he became Shia." So he said that they were from Ahlul Sunnah and they were his relatives. My father was also from them, but my mother was a Shia. And through the favor of Imam Zaman, I became a Shia as well. So the narrator says, I asked him the motive of converting to Shiaism and how that occurred. He said, "My name is Yaqut, and my profession is selling oil beside the Hilla bridge. One year I went out of Hilla to purchase oil from the dwellers of the desert in the surrounding areas. I traveled some distance and purchased the oil, and on the return journey got the company of some people of Hilla. We halted at one place at night, and I went to sleep. But when I awoke in the morning, I saw that they had all gone away, leaving me alone, without any water or rations, in a desert infested with wild animals. The nearest habitation was at least a few farsakh, 6 kilometers, around 6 kilometers. I got up and began my lonely journey, but after some time I lost the way and was completely confused. In addition to this, I was extremely thirsty and the fear of wild beasts overwhelmed me." So this guy, he's in the desert. His caravan has left him. He's walking, but he got lost. Now he's hungry, he's thirsty, and he's afraid of some wild animals attacking him all alone out here. So he said, "I remained there in that condition, and I asked the tawassul of the caliphs, imploring them to help me." He's calling on Abu Bakr, Omar, Uthman, asking them to help him intercede with Allah. He says, and through their intercession, I begged Allah to save me. But there was no response. Then I remembered my mother saying that we have a living Imam, whose title is Abu Saleh, who responds to the call of those who have lost their way and who helps those who are oppressed and weak. So his mother told him about Imam Mahdi. There's an Imam of our time, Sahib al-Zaman. So he says, then I called out to him and sought his refuge. I saw a man in a green turban like grass by the riverside. He began to walk with me. He ordered me to adopt the religion of my mother. He said, very soon you will reach a habitation where all the inhabitants are Shia. I said, my master, will you not come to that place with me? So he's asking Imam Zaman, come to this place with me. He said, no, as 1,000 people around the country are calling me for help. I want to go and help them. After that, he disappeared. He vanished from his sight. After traveling for some time, I reached that village. Such was a distance to that place that my previous fellow travelers reached that station only the next day. I returned to Hilla from there and went to meet the chief jurisprudent, Sayyid Mahdi Kazwini. I narrated my story to him and learned the rules and regulations of religion from him, and asked what should I do in order to see His Eminence again. He said to go for the ziyarat of Imam Hussein for 40 Fridays, consecutive Friday evenings. I began to go for the ziyarat of the chief of the martyrs every Friday evening, and once it so happened that only one Friday evening remained from 40. I set out from Hilla on Thursday for Karbala, but when I reached the city gates, I saw the tyrannical officials were asking for a permit to come, and they were very strict about it. Neither did I have a permit nor the money to purchase one. A few times I tried to smuggle myself by mingling in a group of people, but I did not succeed. At that time I saw His Eminence, the master of the affair, Sahib al-Zaman, Imam Mahdi, Ajallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. He entered wearing a dress of Iranian students and a white turban on the head. Outside of the city I sought his refuge and pleaded for his help. He came out and took me with himself into the city, but I did not see him again and remained regretful and sad at his separation. This is also mentioned in the book Najmus Thaqib. So we see here that this man needed help, and he was in the desert all alone, and he called out for Imam Zaman. He was not even a Shia at that time. He was a Sunni still of the religion of his father, but he remembered his mother telling him about Imam Zaman, and he called for Imam Zaman's help after he had called for the other caliph's help with no response. There's another story similar to this about man on a boat calling for the caliphs, and then they did not help him. The waves got stronger actually, and he ended up calling on Imam Zaman. So anyway, this guy, he's calling for Imam Zaman. He's a non-Shia. Imam Zaman comes to him. He helps him. He guides him back to his way. And he also corrects his religion and tells him to follow the religion of his mother to become a Shia. And guides him spiritually and also guided him physically to the place that he needed to go. All we have to do to get the Imam's help is to ask. Do we ask though? Do we even think to ask? Most of us, we don't even think about our Imam. How many times do we think about our Imam in the day? How many times do we send salam to our Imam? How many times do we ask for the Imam's help when we need it? Or do we think that we don't need the Imam? Na'udhu billah wa astaghfirullah. No, Allah sent us the Imam. We need the Imam. He is the protector of the religion, and also he is here to guide us and help us. He is the master of the Shia. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to build the spiritual connection with our Imam and to remember our Imam, inshaAllah ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum.